My name is Zack Pace, and I'm in a junior guys small group. For sure, I have definitely been able to experience a lot of influence on my life being poured into by my small group leaders, but also through my small group guys. My small group leaders have just shown me a lot of love, and just like they've been able to, point me in the right direction in certain times. For example, I was struggling with doubt for a long time. My small group leader, Brad, he on the Forge retreat that year, he pulled me aside, and we just had a long conversation about doubting and just kind of where I was at and what was bringing me to that point. And he was just genuinely interested in what was going on in my life, and he was kind of worried for me at that point. And so I thought it was just cool that my small group leaders cared about me enough to say, hey, there's something going on with you, and I've noticed it. You've come to me, you've been comfortable enough to come to me as well, and just kind of talk it out. Just kind of while I was in that area of my life, Brad and Davis both provided me with just comfort and encouragement in my faith. I can look back through the past 2 years that I've spent with my small group, and I can see a ton of change through my life. I think the fact that I can see that, I can look back and see how God's changed me, helps me want Him more, helps me desire to have Him more. I think that's really cool, just because it just kind of excites me a little bit that I can see God working in my life, because we always talk about how He's intangible and how faith is believing without seeing, or whatever you want to call it. I can see physical, tangible evidence of God moving stuff away and making a new me. And I may not be a perfect person yet, and I'm not, I know that, but I can see that I'm growing and that I'm becoming a better believer through the years with the help of my small group leaders, but also the Holy Spirit and God inside of me, and just changing me. And so I think that's been really cool. So one cool thing that we've done with the 4th grade guys, they were struggling with behavior and just being able to focus in the classroom and really learn about stuff. What I did is I wasn't really sure how to get them into that, and so I talked to my small group leader, Brad, and he was able to help me out. He said, well, if these boys aren't able to focus, aren't able to behave, it's probably because they're not being challenged enough. And so one thing we were able to do is give them an opportunity to lead their own classmates, and take a section of the lesson and read through the Bible and tell us, hey, what does this mean? And they would explain it, and we would be able to help them explain it, or say, hey, good job, you did awesome, and teach them how to lead. As they're coming up to be young men, being able to understand what that's like, and being able to experience it and to do it, so they know what it's like when they're growing up. And so that was something that was really cool. So being able to experience the influence that I do through my small group leaders and through my small group, just being able to experience that intentionality and that care that they put into it, and just knowing that they're genuine about it and that they care about you, and that you know, it's not just a one-way thing. You come to them with your problems and they, you know, fix them all. It's like you influence them, you help them grow, and they help you grow, and you know, we all grow together, kind of a thing. And so just experiencing, you know, getting to see their leadership impacting yourself, you know, it has, for me, you know, given me a desire to want to go and do that for other people, whether it be my small group or my 4th grade boys, or just, you know, people in school, or you know, that I talk to. Whatever I can do, like, I want to be able to pour into them and help them out, you know, with whatever they're struggling with. And so I don't know, yeah, that's just kind of, yeah, sort of. I guess maybe I was pointing more towards just outside of church, in the sense that with my cross-country guys, we have, you know, we've done little, like, book or Bible studies type things, and with my small group guys, we did a book study outside of small group, and so me and Johnny, we were leaders of that, and so we were able to, you know, we had, like, responsibility, we had weight up, like, on us. We had to decide what we were going to do, and make plans for it and get everybody there, and so
okay.
That's kind of
in other words, what you're saying is, like, Brad and Davis have helped you grow in that type of responsibility.
Mm-hmm. And they've kind of, like, provided ways for us to do that so that we can experience it, you know.
Okay.
Well, in the sense of desires, I think my desire for God has definitely grown, because I think 2 years ago, the difference between me now and me then was probably that my focus wasn't necessarily God. It was more of me, like, you know, how am I filling myself up with, you know, truths that I believed were true, and making myself feel better about them. And also not just those desires kind of in a spiritual sense, but my desires, my lustful desires, you know, my sinful desires. I think those have, you know, kind of knocked down a little bit through the years as I've, you know, been starting to understand who God is, and, you know, really experiencing who He is fully. And so I've been able to just, you know, kind of grasp all of that and just say, hey, wow, this is amazing. Like, I want more of this. And, you know, that has, you know, that desire has kind of sprouted out, for a lack of a better word, of me, because of, you know, my small group leaders' seed that they've planted, like the leadership and the, you know, just the, you know, care that they've put into, you know, helping us out.
Yeah. You said a little bit, you see more of God.
I've seen, you know, throughout the years, I've seen my small group leaders sacrifice a lot of time with us, away from their families, or away from their wives, and, you know, just free time that they could, you know, have relaxing, or, you know, being with their family. They've sacrificed that for us, because they care about us and they want to see us grow. And I think that's such a cool thing that they're willing to do that, and it's something that, you know, I can't fully thank them for. Yeah, I think their sacrifice has definitely built a lot of credibility for me with them. You know, just knowing that they are giving up time and giving up their money and their energy to pour into me makes me want to believe what they have to say, you know. It makes me want what they have. The fact that they're willing to, you know, give up time for me makes me want to be able to do that for others, you know. my 4th grade boys that I teach in the mornings in Camp Grace. So I've been able to, teach them every morning, and I think it's been a really cool experience for me because I've gotten to lead with other student leaders, and we've gotten to go through the whole, discipline behavior thing with the kids, and we've gotten to grow as leaders through that. But also, we've gotten to engage kids, and a lot of times you don't think that just little kids, they don't really think about the Bible as much. But when you actually get in the classroom and you start breaking down stuff with them, they start having good questions that they're asking, and they start wondering, like, well, what about this? Or this doesn't really make sense. How would you explain that? And you get to say, well, this is what I think about it. This is what the Bible. And I've struggled with all kinds of different areas in my life, and just, I guess, my small group leaders, pouring into us has helped us pour into each other in my small group. And so while I'm able to pour into the guys that are in my group, they're also able to pour into me. So I can come to small group and I can feel open and I can say, hey, here's what I'm struggling with. It hurts me, and I'm in a deep spot right now that it doesn't feel good. And they can be like, hey, Zach, I've been in this spot too, or I've been struggling with this too, or maybe I'm not struggling with this, but here's what I think that you could do to maybe help where you're at, help you get out of it, or some steps that you can take to change the situation or to help someone else. And so just getting to experience that kind of influence, both from my peers but also from my small group leaders, has been a big impact on me. And I've been able to turn around and point that, or just kind of let that flow into